You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Welcome back to Code Rad, everybody. Today we're going to talk about a very disappointing experience as far as made-for-HBO neo-noir 90s movies goes. But first, there is my book of cosmic horror, Tales of Conspiracy and Madness. Thought I was going to forget it there for a minute. And there is some concept art from Volume 2 of Interplanet. Volume 1 is currently available at fundmycomic.com. Volume 2, we are working on it. So some concept artwork there by the peerless Anton Tarlov, also known as Tony Tyler. Great guy, great artist. All right, so Witch Hunt came out in 1994. As you can see, it stars Dennis Hopper and Penelope Ann Miller. Came out 3 years after Cast a Deadly Spell, which is a fantastic movie, easily available. Talked about it on the most recent episode of Code Rad. So 1994 comes out with Witch Hunt, written by Joseph Doherty, which is worth noting because I was surprised to find that out after watching Witch Hunt, because Witch Hunt is so different. And Joseph Doherty also wrote Cast a Deadly Spell. So who knows what happens in, behind the scenes, pre-production, post-production. I mean, one of the most noticeable differences is that all the Lovecraftian references are thrown out of Witch Hunt. There's nothing except for the main character is still named H.P. Lovecraft, although he's no longer played by Fred Ward in the next movie. So that's odd. Directed by Paul Schrader. Deadly Spell was directed by Martin Campbell. Hope I got that name right. Who directed 2 very highly regarded James Bond movies, some other well-known movies. Paul Schrader, of course, directed one of the all-time classics of 1970s cinema, collaboration with Martin Scorsese, Taxi Driver. He directed a bunch of movies in the 90s. I don't think anything that is considered a classic. His movies fit in well with the zeitgeist of the 90s filmmaking. But Witch Hunt was a job for hire, and it shows. I mean, don't know. Just in every way, Witch Hunt was kind of a step down from Cast a Deadly Spell. I mean, even the name Witch Hunt, very low effort compared to something like Cast a Deadly Spell. And Witch Hunt also telegraphs what the movie is about, which isn't a great metaphor. So this one we have Dennis Hopper playing the same role as Fred Ward did in the previous movie. Sorry. Dennis Hopper, he's kind of one of those, I feel like he is going to be forever remembered as Frank Booth in Blue Velvet, of course. Kind of like how Jack Nicholson was never the same after he did The Shining. It's like everything after The Shining is, for the most part, very similar to The Shining. So here seeing Dennis Hopper play a relatively subdued character, although as you can see, kind of dressed like Frank Booth too. So I'm not even really sure. I liked Fred Ward better, I think, and the jury has returned a verdict, and Fred Ward was definitely the better actor for the role. Dennis Hopper, not sure what to say because, as I mentioned before, Witch Hunt is all around a step down. So I don't know how to judge Dennis Hopper's performance. Penelope Ann Miller That is one of those names I know. She's another one of those actors that's just been in everything, has acted so much. She's fantastic in this. She plays a starlet who is married to a studio head. And, like in the previous movie, there's all kinds of witchcraft, strange things going on involving murder that Detective Lovecraft has to investigate. And then another blast from the past, Eric Bogosian. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie with this guy, but I do remember he was kind of everywhere in the 90s for a little while. I guess it was a thing where, they called performance artists, where we would do like a one-man show. And he did a one-man show about talk radio where he basically played Howard Stern and was in he impressed Oliver Stone so much. Oliver Stone made a movie out of it. I don't think I saw this movie, but kind of ironic given, Howard Stern's place in pop culture at the moment. Stern was known as a shock jock. Now he's about as shocking as a fluffy bunny. But anyway, so Eric Bogosian plays a thinly veiled version of McCarthy. This movie is about McCarthy politics, as you might have noticed from the title, Witch Hunt. And of course, it's a strange analogy, a strange metaphor for the communist witch hunts, which I don't want to spend too much time thinking about it, but here, magic is communism. Well, witches are communists. And this guy is a completely cynical politician going after witches just for his own personal gain. And music by Angelo Badalamenti, which also goes with the whole Frank Booth theme here. There's some cool themes in this movie. It's always nice to hear Angelo Badalamenti. I forget what year Fire Walk With Me came out, but of course, by 1994, the show was a distant memory, and pretty sure Fire Walk With Me had come out by this point and, was completely destroyed by the critics, was a complete flop financially. So, I mean, any chance you get to have something like Angelo Badalamenti appear in a TV movie was very welcome. So the movie skips ahead a few years. As you may recall, Cast a Deadly Spell took place in the 40s, 1948, I believe. Here we're in the 50s, and here's a newsreel showing how the average folks of Los Angeles use magic in their daily lives. Here they are, levitating their baby. Here's another great shot of Penelope Ann Miller, just looking so 1950s when the movie just presents the 1950s aesthetic. It's great. I love that. That shot is amazing. The idea of actors, studio executives, detectives, all in 1950s is awesome. Here's a couple of also witches, I believe, who are just looking very 1950s. So far, so good. You could see it looks like they're in Los Angeles, Hollywood Hills, something like that. Love it. There's a lot to like about this movie, which is what makes it disappointing when it all kind of starts to unravel. Here is a shot from Cast a Deadly Spell that I included in my presentation on that show. I mean, this just screams 1940s private detective. There's Detective Lovecraft pouring himself a stiff drink in his office. And here's an office from Witch Hunt. What the hell? I mean, I understand you're moving forward in time. Now it's the 1950s, but I mean, this kind of just says 1980s food court or something. So, this show, I don't understand why they made this, because I think it's clear the script is not as good and the production is much cheaper. They did not spend as much money on it, which is like, so if you had doubts about the whole thing, why did you go through with it? Who knows? There's not a lot of behind the scenes. I dug a little, And there's like nothing out. I guess no one cares about this movie. There's nothing about I'm sure, I imagine Martin Campbell was busy, so they had to hire a different director. And, they got Paul Schrader, who's no slouch. They got Eric Bogosian. I didn't recognize him until the end. Because, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about Eric Bogosian. But here he is playing the evil McCarthyite senator going after witches. This guy has a very loaded name, N.J. Gottlieb. NJ, there's all kinds of weird stuff about New Jersey. And Gottlieb, I always think of Sidney Gottlieb, one of the heads of MK Ultra. So he gets killed by magic. He's a bad guy. And that is kind of what sets the plot into motion. One of the problems with this movie is that it's very murky. What is Lovecraft doing? Why does Penelope Ann Miller's character need to get a detective? Whereas Cast a Deadly Spell, it just works. The structure of the movie did a great job of explaining what was going on, why every scene was important, moving the plot forward, finding the murderer. This one, it's confusing. There's Julian Sands, another name you don't hear very often. He was pretty cool. He's another witch, works for for N.J. Gottlieb. He's only got one eye. The movie also involves a brothel, which I'm not sure what's going on here, if it's CGI, some sort of inflatable or padding, but the ladies who work in the brothel can be altered through magic to the customer's preference. So you've got so much great stuff. You've got the occults, private detectives, brothels, rotten studio heads, rotten politicians, and somehow it just does not come together. Lousy special effects. Cast a Deadly Spell is a very impressive looking movie. Lots of cool monsters. Even when they're hokey, they're fun. This movie just has a bunch of cruddy CGI. They really half-assed this one, unfortunately. Here's kind of a cool thing where Hopper Lovecraft is on a stakeout, and this raven lands on the hood of his car with a snake in its beak. That's a little ominous. So, yeah, that happens early in the movie, and that kind of thing could trick you into thinking that it's a good movie. Sadly, you'd be mistaken. Raven holding a snake, pretty cool. Sort of a House Un-American Activities Committee kind of scene where actresses have to testify about who, the magic users they know. So kind of cool. But then here, the Senator Crockett is going to burn a witch at the stake. A little bit different from House Un-American Activities. But yeah, we're driving the witch hunt theme home. And so then, so you have the politician who then transforms into, I guess, his real self. I think this is how I remember Eric Bogosian looking when he would do his stage performances and stuff. And he basically performs a monologue here that I imagine is the kind of stuff he would do on stage. And he does have a funny line. He's trying to warn people about how bad things are going to happen. I won't even provide the context why he transforms like this. If you care enough, you can watch the movie and find out. It has to do with a curse. So here he is looking like 1990s, and he tells the audience all the horrors that are coming in the future, including Designated Hitter, which I found kind of hilarious, especially now that National League even has Designated Hitter. Deplorable. Very sad. So there you have it. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Worth a look if you're really into this kind of stuff. 90s noir. Love that. Occult. No more H.P. Lovecraft. No Cthulhu in this one. But there you have it. Thank you for joining me. I have something very special in store for you next week. Bye-bye.